The outbreak of war in 1939 completely changed the role of government in the forest industry, as Canada became Britain's supply depot for vast amounts of wood product.
Then along comes World War II, and you have a huge uptick where we became Britain's ranking ally by mid-1940, and we are looked at as a supply depot for so many materials that Britain needs and the Allied war effort is in dire need of. And lumber would have been one of the major products.
We cut a lot of yellow birch to make the panels for the mosquito fighters and decking for a lot of warships, the wood stock for the rifle butts. So demand was really high.
So that was a huge boom to the Canadian forest industry, and that would have accelerated harvesting again and having a larger impact on the landscape, more species being harvested in a broader area.
The war effort forced a new relationship between government and the forest industry. Previously, governments had played almost no role in the management of the forests. Legislation was limited, and the companies did all the work. Now, a steady supply of wood products was needed, and it became the responsibility of the Federal Department of Munitions and Supply. The whole wood production stream, from stump to mill to seaport, was examined, and inefficiencies and bottlenecks rationalized and streamlined. After the war, with Europe in ruins and a building boom at home, our natural resources were needed more than ever, and the partnership that worked so well in wartime was continued.
I mean, this was a golden opportunity for us to emerge as a world leader in terms of providing the globe with forest products, and we did that. During 1945 to 55, the Canadian pulp and paper industry operated at or above 100% capacity, which means we can't keep up with demand, or at least in terms of newsprint. So this was an era during which the world would buy literally as much as we could produce.
Pressures to supply a booming market, the need to make the industry more cost-effective, and a post-war labor shortage led to innovation and the development of new technologies in the way trees were being harvested. Our famous brawny, axe-swinging lumberjacks heaving down the pine were being replaced by loggers with gas-powered chainsaws.
Canadians became innovators and in terms of mechanization. So that gentleman who used to, or a three-man crew that used to cut pulpwood, now they were using a chainsaw, rudimentary chainsaw, or they were driving a skidder. So now they're able to cut exponentially more wood than the three-man crew would have done before. And so you had higher productivity, but fewer workers needed.
Trees could be harvested more efficiently, with fewer men, and at less cost. So for the next 2 decades, government and industry would concentrate on making sure we did not run out of trees. Companies were required to submit annual and long-term cutting plans. At the same time, the Ontario Department of Lands and Forest embarked on its first comprehensive forest inventory. They soon realized that our trees were not regenerating naturally fast enough to meet demand.
So in the late 50s and then into the 1960s, Ontario began a major program of building nurseries in the north. And it was an exciting time because we were doing things that hadn't been done before. And the nurseries, growing seedlings in containers, they produced 20 million seedlings in 1 year in what were called plastic tubes. That was the beginnings of the new period of forest management in Ontario. We had other elements of it, the inventory, but this was the real beginning of establishing new forest, and it was an exciting time.
By 1962, the post-war reorganization of forestry was complete, with the roles of government and industry defined in legislation. In the forestry profession, it was a time of enthusiasm, energy, and activity. In the forest industry, the world would buy everything we could produce. Canada and the forest industry were looking forward to growth and prosperity.